Des Claude was the last superstar to hit the portal before the portal window closed, and we finally have a list of schools that are pursuing Des Claude. This comes from Dushan London. Shout out to Dushan from 24/7 Sports and CBS Sports. BYU, Ole Miss, Florida, Gonzaga, Indiana, and Virginia are six schools that have reached out to Des Claude. If you're unfamiliar with Claude, he rocks. He started his career at Xavier, where he was highly productive, big time scorer. Went to USC last season under Muss. His numbers remain nearly identical to what they were at Xavier, which is hard to do. He's been a first option really for back to back seasons at two different high major schools. And I think whoever gets him can expect a highly productive scoring engine where the only big question is like, can he step out and hit threes? He did improve his 3-point shot a little bit last year. It's still not great, but that's sort of the one iffy mark on Des Claude's offensive game. Other than that, he's a pretty unstoppable force, in my opinion. BYU on the list. That's an interesting one. Indiana has been after like everyone, it seems. Florida, we speculated, could Florida get a Denzel Aberdeen replacement that's better than Denzel Aberdeen? Des Claude would fit the bill there. And then Ole Miss, Gonzaga, Virginia, certainly schools that have their own reasons that you could consider. What do you make of this list for Des Claude?
A lot of good fits on here that I like, to be honest with you. I feel like I would love to fit at Florida, of course. I think that's my got to fill my Gator Boy stay hot quota. I think there's a world too where you could play him at BYU, slide DeBanza to the four, have Rob Wright, Des Claude, Richie Saunders, DeBanza Keita. Love that five. I also think that like Des Claude is just like I don't know. Do you have the feeling that he's a little bit underappreciated as a player? Like
Uh,
this like I would constitute this as a big time player entering the portal late. And I don't know if it's getting that or maybe I'm not in the, just not seeing the buzz like everybody else, but like I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of like not as much buzz on Des Claude actually being available as it should be.
I think you're right about late in the cycle. He's such a big name that he maybe carries some elevated importance or weight now. I would say like Goldilocks and the Three Bears shout out. He's valued just right. Just
Just right.
right. Yeah. I think he's very good. I also think if Des Claude's your best player, you look similarly to USC and Xavier. You're okay. Now, the thing that excites me about a couple of these teams is I don't think he'd be the best player. I think he'd be the second or third best player on a few of these teams. And if Des Claude's your second or third best player, then we're talking one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, I like that. Also, amazing, 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 amazing that I was able to escape that part of the segment without being compared to any of the Bears from Goldilocks.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I probably am not on my A game today, in all honesty.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So,
honestly, that's like with the cry for help. Like, if I tweet something like, "Oh man, I miss Eric Ebron," that means I've been kidnapped. You not calling me a bear in that scenario has me concerned.
yeah, sorry. Honestly, I got distracted because Yaxel Lendeborg's on an official visit to Michigan right now.
I saw that. What's that even? We'll talk. That's not what this video is about. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that. Des
Yeah.
Claude, does that make you happy though?
That he's on an official visit?
Yeah.
Vlad did the same thing last year.
Oh, here we go.
He was
Uh-oh.
he was apartment hunting.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Two just wild, wild, wild. But I would just love to make the pitch to get him to the Gators.
Make the pitch then. Why should he go to Florida over BYU or Gonzaga or Indiana or Ole Miss or Virginia? Can we
Why
be
did
big
that?
boys though and just eliminate Virginia? Don't go to Virginia.
Yeah. Why did Des Claude go to USC in the first place?
We interrupt this sleepers video to tell you about an offer from Underdog Fantasy. Cart, you love Underdog Fantasy, correct?
Of course I do. Can I have a moment real quick?
Please. Thank you for that. In fact, I'm going to cut you off because our listeners like when we keep these short and sweet. Underdog Fantasy. Sign up as a new user. Use promo code SLEEPERS. Get bonus funds up to $1,000, 50% of your deposit match. The NBA playoffs are rocking right now. I played Underdog last week with a Cade Cunningham line. I'm looking forward to doing it throughout the entire first round of the NBA playoffs, but there's more. You can place picks on golf. You can place picks on baseball. You can place picks on the NHL playoffs that are rocking right now. Join Underdog Fantasy, promo code SLEEPERS. Support this show so that we can keep bringing videos to you. Back to the video. There's a few different answers to that, I think.
Yeah, but I inherently, well, one, you want to get away from Sean Miller. Two, I think he wanted somewhat of a more prominent role, like a bigger, like I'm the guy type role. Um,
I think he wanted money and beach.
you think?
He's like the Ken doll. Can do beach.
Can't, okay, well, is
He's just Des.
there, you're so bad. Is there a beach in Provo?
There's mountains.
You know where there are beaches?
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be a good pitch because there's not a beach in Bloomington, as far as I'm concerned. And there's not a beach in Provo. And there's not a beach in however you say where Gonzaga's from. And I don't think there's a beach in Ole Miss.
There is a beach in Spokane.
I don't think so. So, yeah, I don't know. Here's my thing. Des Claude and Xavier Lee. Do those two pair well together?
I personally would want a little bit more shooting next to Xavier Lee.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that'd be like option B, I guess.
I think
Like,
Des is really good.
Having Des Claude, like I'm not, I don't know. I feel like me saying that inherently is like nitpicking a little bit. Like, yeah, I would like some more shooting next to Xavier Lee, but also like that's a really good backcourt, Xavier Lee and Des Claude.
It would require Xavier to do a lot of the point guard things.
Mhm.
Because that's sort of the issue with Des
Well,
is
don't you think Des kind of did okay as like a
yeah,
point guard at
everything
times?
about it at USC was okay. That's the problem here. Dez is like he kind of is a point guard, but he's mostly not. He kind of is a shooter, but he's mostly not. He's just productive. He's a really good productive player. But I do think you've got to like fit him in right in the right stuff here. Because if you ask him to be your full-time point guard next to Xavier Lee, I think that's weird. And Dez would be better off ball being like a secondary engine. And Xavier Lee, I don't know. Xavier Lee would have to like run the offense a little more. It could work. It's certainly something Todd Golden should try and do. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's national champion. They got Thomas Haw back in the fold. That team would be really good. Um, Gonzaga needs somebody in the backcourt to be an alpha. So it feels like they're going to hit on somebody at some point, and this could be the hit. What's Indiana doing?
I don't know. Does Indiana realize they gotta eventually add someone in the front court?
Well, just they're after everybody.
I don't think Indiana's actually go after him.
They got two guys yesterday. They got Nick Dorn and Sam Alexis yesterday.
Yeah, there's no way that they actually. I mean, obviously they would take Des Claude, but I just have a hard time believing they're actually after him.
I feel like Darren DeVries is just like a kid in a candy store right now, just grabbing everything. It's weird.
Guards.
Kid in a candy stripe store. All right, then finally, I saved my favorite for last here. BYU, bag you up, Brigham Young University. We were told a couple weeks ago that BYU was trying to sneak into the Darion Williams backdoor thing. So it's been pretty clear from the jump, like BYU wants to get one more star here. They're probably going to have the money for it, whether it's Darion Williams or somebody else. BYU is going to make a play at one more star. Darion Williams is the perfect fit next to everything else they're trying to do. You just drop him next to DeBansa and Saunders and Rob Wright and Keita. It's perfect. He fits the position of need. He does all the little things needed. Des Claude, for as good as he is, would confuse the hell out of me on the BYU roster because he needs the ball. So that takes the ball out of Rob Wright's hands, takes the ball out of AJ DeBance's hands. He doesn't give you the floor spacing needed. Like we don't know what type of shooter DeBance is going to be in college yet. And I'll be honest with you, Cart, the best offense for BYU last year had Richie Saunders on the ball. So are you telling me Richie Saunders is going to be the fourth guy next year? Like if you have Des Claude, Rob Wright, and AJ DeBance on the team, Richie Saunders ain't getting the ball. So I'm kind of baffled BYU would insert themselves here. It feels like this is not a position of need. It feels like this is not a skill set of need. But at the same time, if you dropped him as the fifth name in that starting lineup, it's the biggest name superstar power lineup in the sport. So I would trust Kevin Young to figure it out, but doesn't it just feel clunky to you on paper?
Yeah, it does. And it, also just like priority wise, it's not like the. I think you and I have talked about like trying to get like a four to pair next to Kata, right? That would kind of fit in like a Darion Williams type. I just Des Claude not the archetype. I think BYU should be after.
Yeah. Okay. That's where I'm at too. We'll see. Any initial gut feel on where Des Claude goes?
Mm. People got to realize once I throw out my gut feel, there's no chance they go there. So, um, my gut feel, I'm gonna say Florida. I'm gonna say Florida.
Your 29th Florida prediction of the year. How many have you hit on? You hit on Xavier Lee.
Hit on Xavier Lee. I've missed on every single other one.
So 1 for 28. Okay. 2 for 29 would be better than 1 for 28. I think Gonzaga. Just weird feel Gonzaga gets their guy.
It'd be so weird to watch him play for Gonzaga.
He'd be pretty good.
It would.